Hello and welcome to my review of the Space Marines Storm Speeder. They don't specifically call it a Primaris Storm Speeder, but it's only got Primaris in it. And no doubt for some reason that will escape us all, normal Space Marines won't be able to fit or be able to use this piece of equipment. One of these sets will set you back £42.50, which is, it's not too bad, but it's also not too good. It seems like yesterday that Land Raider, one of the best tanks in the Space Marine armoury, were only £45. They're now at a whopping £50. I mean, I suppose it could be worse. It could be the £45 of the 6 Primaris Transport, the Impulsor, but there we go. Anyway, if you like this model, you like this model, and nothing's gonna dissuade you. And to be fair to it, I built it in the live stream and it was a joy to build. It was a lovely model. I couldn't see anything wrong with the actual build. There weren't hardly any gaps at all. It fitted together very nicely and snugly, and no doubt I would enjoy building another one or another two to get the full range of them in the future. But in terms of a design wise, that's probably one of the main things that would put me off, is that you can't really magnetize any of these weapons to make the other two variants, which I think if you're making a land speeder like this with multiple variants, that's what Games Workshop should be focusing on. Kits that you can make all of the different options. That's been gradually changing over the years, and I think we've hit a wall in terms of that now, and this is just the norm. It's a real shame because these kits, as you know, are very expensive. You know, £41 here for this one, and allowing the hobbyist to swap the weapons and things just increases that value. And I think that's what a lot of hobbyists are looking for with these newer kits, is the prices have gone up, but we want more value. We're getting the detail now, but yeah, we just want more value from the kits that have multiple options. And you can't get that with this, because the sponsons are made in a way that you can't necessarily magnetize them that easily. This front gun, you can sort of magnetize the front weapon, but the sponsons not so much, and definitely not the rear missiles. And it would be a lot of faff to magnetize the rear missiles as well, especially if you wanted to put the Iron Hail heavy stubbers on there too. The thing is all of these three weapons are unique to that type of speeder. I suppose you could put the missiles on here. We'll go through spare parts very soon, but you could put the missiles because it does look cooler with them on there. But that's the only issue with this speeder, is that to have it as a different variant, you have to swap all of these 1, 2, 3, 4 you know, parts to swap it over. Now, if I was coming at this model for a second time in the design phase, I would have had plug and socket joint like some of the other tanks on the front weapon. I would have had these easier to magnetize, and a different kind of joint there, so you can just pop them off, or even pop these actual weapon parts off easier. And again, I'd have that the weapon system there easier to swap in and out, and I just would have done away with these silly bars and the Primaris in there too. Not needed. We can just have some kind of sensor array. We have a big sensor array for the Whirlwind. I know it's a Whirlwind, but you know, come on, I would have had it that way. In terms of the model itself, it is a lovely kit. As I said, it's a joy to put together, especially these grav plates. I mean, they come in like 2 parts and you just put them both together and slot them on, and the mold lines aren't too bad either for those. So if you're a bit allergic to mold lines and grav plates in particular, if you've had experience with the other Primaris vehicles, then fear not, you're not going to have any issues with this kit. It's got these odd exhausts here, which is really strange. I mean, you get them on all of the repulsor plate vehicles now, so I guess it must be something to do with the drive system for them, but it just seems really odd that you get exhausts as well as thrusters. But like I say, you'll find those on repulsor tanks. You get this big bay here, which by looking at it looks like the shutters on like the side of fire engines and things. It's not a solid armour plate. Huge weak spot there. If you're able to get a las cannon shot through the back of that, potentially killing the weapon system operator. Again, I would have preferred that to be a solid plate, or even not exist at all, and just have some kind of targeting system on the top. Again, with these bars as well, I mean, what are these bars for? To help the Primaris get in? I mean, it just, yeah. This model, as I said before, it just raises too many questions than it answers. How do these Space Marines even get out? Do these bars retreat in? Do they pop open? This door doesn't even look like it opens. There's one step there. I mean, there's not a step underneath either. I mean, it looks cleaner by all means, but it just raises more questions. The front isn't too bad. It's still got these kind of ski shoe bar things here, but it does have exhaust intakes and some kind of comms relay there. So yeah, overall it does ask some questions. Still looks all right though. For a Primaris version of a Landspeeder. I'll get out a Landspeeder in a moment, but yeah. So and then there's this stand. Is it an improvement to the old ones? Well, it's thicker, it's sturdier, it's got the ball joint, which means you can potentially put these in much more ambitious poses than you could with the older Landspeeder kits, because with those they had a ball and socket which you could sort of move a little bit, but not fully overextend, and it was prone to breaking a fair amount. And then if you just had the normal stand that had the little knob at the top, then it would go in and the flyer would just stay quite level. Whereas having this... That's enough of that. So we'll leave that off for this demonstration because it will just fall off again. But for this one, you can have the model like that or like that, banking, you know, whichever way you wish, you can have it in all these amazing poses. It can sort of stay, but like I was saying, I wouldn't rely on it too much to hold that position. I would pick a pose and then glue it on once you've sprayed and painted it and things. It's just a shame they don't do like an extra attachment there that could go into the bottom and have it so that you could have you could change all of the poses. Maybe that's on its way, who knows. So spare parts then. Here are all of the spare parts. I mean, I've noticed on the weapons array I haven't put this this targeter, or one of the targeters, into the top. I think it's actually this thing right here. That just nestles on the top, so I've taken that out for the moment. You get the frag launchers and the Ironstorm rocket pods as well. They have a fair amount of detail. I really like the look of those. You get the frag launchers. You get the magazines for the Iron Hail heavy stubbers, which just, yeah, look like what you'd expect. You get the longer las talon. I only wish that they'd had this big las talon on the Firestrike servo turret. You know, 36-inch range las talon. You get the targeters for the missiles, which are right here. Yeah, and they do look fantastic on it. And then you get the Onslaught Gatling cannon too. And then you get these two extra bits, which I think go on the ends of the go on the sides of the heavy stubbers. So they're all the spare parts. Not a huge amount. I mean, as I say, you know, maybe you could use these Iron Hail stubbers for something. The missiles you could probably put on the Storm Speeder to make it look cooler, or put it on a tank or something. I mean, you know, there is an option there. So here are a couple of other Landspeeders that I own. You've got a Landspeeder Tempest on the right, which I think is one of the coolest looking Landspeeders going. You've got the assault cannon and you've got the frag and crack missiles either side, and it's only piloted by one Space Marine for 2 weapon systems. Then you've got the typical Landspeeder Tornado, which is terribly painted, I know, and is only painted in like 6 colours, but still, there's my size comparison. next to, you know, like a normal, say, land speeder. It's much, much bigger. We're talking at least double the density there, with the sponsons as well. Does it look better? Well, it is huge compared to, you know, what we've had before. It certainly does stand out compared to the other land speeders, even the Horus Heresy ones as well. It's got a fair bit of presence. Now, I know a fair few of you wanted me to compare it to an Impulsor. It's right here. Well, this is a Gladiator, but still, this is, I think, what, £10 more? I think it's like £52 or so, but it just goes to show you just how much more you do get. Again, the Gladiator was a fun kit, other than the individual grav plates, which were a nightmare. It's still quite a fun kit to build. Everything went together quite well. You barely get any gaps and things. I mean, I could just see a gap there, but I'll fix that before spraying. But yeah, there you go. That's the size difference there, if you were wanted a comparison. And then we've got the big boy, £60 monster here, the Repulsor Executioner. And yeah, this is essentially for an extra £18. This is the next step up. So yeah, huge, absolutely huge tank compared to the Storm Speeder. The final size comparison I'd like to make, I always like to make, is just with an Intercessor, Slime Marbo, and your normal Space Marine. So yeah, Intercessor size, they are the same in there, you know, minus the shoulder pauldrons, which I find is a bit odd, because even the Space Marines in the land speeders have their shoulder pauldrons, and that's the kind of the whole point, is that it's open topped, but because they're wearing their power armor, that negates any extra damaging factors that could harm them. But in this case, yeah, they're sort of wearing their power armor, but it's like a streamlined version. They don't have the shoulder pauldrons. Maybe they couldn't fit them in the design process, but still looks a little bit odd. I'm not quite used to, you know, Reavers only having one shoulder pauldron, let alone these pilots and gunners not having them. Would it give the same protection as a 3+ armor save? Well, according to Games Workshop, yes. So therefore, one could say, just remove all of your shoulder pauldrons off of your Space Marines from now on. I know that's an extreme view, but yeah, I would have thought that if these are getting the same armor save, they should still have their full power armor. But that's me being really, really nitpicky. Compared to a normal Space Marine, this is the size of it. And then Slime Marbo, yeah, he looks very small next to one of these big flyers. Is it big? I'll probably say it's a medium-sized flyer in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so now we're at my stage of the review, where I will go through all of the rules for this Storm Speeder. Luckily, you'll find it in your fast attack section, which isn't as heavily bloated as the other units I've recently reviewed, such as the Blade Guard and the Eradicators. Now, there are 3 flavours of the Storm Speeder: the Hailstrike, the Thunderstrike, and the one you see before you, the Hammerstrike. Both the Thunderstrike and this one, both the Thunderstrike and Hammerstrike, are a power points cost of a 9, whereas the Hailstrike is a bit cheap at power points cost of 8. In terms of points cost, the cheapest is still the Hailstrike at 150 points, then the Hammerstrike at 170, and then the Thunderstrike is the most expensive at 175 points. Now, this Hammerstrike, I've gone for the Rule of Cool. I think it looks the best out of all of them. It's one of these units whereby its number of wounds affects its stat line. So it starts off with 10 wounds, and if it has 6 or more wounds remaining, its movement speed is 16 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 6, 3 attacks, leadership 7, and a save of 3+. If it's got between 3 and 5 wounds remaining, its movement drops to 12 inches and its ballistic skill drops to 4+. And if it's only got 1 or 2 wounds remaining, its movement speed drops all the way down to 8 inches and its ballistic skill is 5+, and its attack is only 1. A Storm Speeder Hammerstrike is equipped with Hammerstrike Missile Launcher, 2 Crackstorm Grenade Launchers, and a Melter Destroyer. So this Hammerstrike Missile Launcher, which is the main missile launcher on this flyer, is a 36-inch range, heavy 2, strength 8, AP -3 and a damage of 3. So that's all right, you know, you're getting 2 shots there at 36-inch range, just a missile launcher. It's your standard missile launcher, but with 2 shots, a shorter range and a better AP and a solid damage of 3 rather than just D6. So you're negating that range there for more shots, better armor penetration and arguably more consistent damage. The Crackstorm grenade launcher, it's a range 18-inch, assault 1, strength 6, AP -1, damage 3. You've probably seen those on the other tanks. It's all right. I mean, it's, you know, 18 inches, nothing to write home about, and it's only 1 shot, but probability you are getting damage of 4 in total. The Melter Destroyer is where it's at. It's a 24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 8, AP -4, damage D6. Each time an attack is made with this weapon that targets a unit within half range, that attack has a damage characteristic of D6 + 2. So it's a little bit like your multi-melter, but with 3 shots, and it's got that damage of D6 + 2 for half range. So this vehicle would work wonders alongside some Eradicators. Abilities: Angels of Death, Raven Wing. If this unit is from the Dark Angels chapter, it has the Raven Wing keyword. Explodes. When this model is destroyed, roll 1d6 before removing it from play. On a 6 it explodes and each unit within 6 inches suffers d3 mortal wounds. Keyword: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Vehicle, Fly, Storm Speeder and Hammerstrike. So there you go. What role does it fulfill? Well, kind of a medium ranged, high strength, high AP damaging weapon. I'm not sure quite why it's got the Crackstorm grenade launchers, because they're short range at 18 inches. I would have preferred melter rifles or multi-melters even, either side. Maybe that would have been a bit too OP, but yeah, the Crackstorm grenade launchers just an odd choice to put for this close range anti-tank, anti-armor speeder. I would have swapped them out for something for sure. Let's talk about the other 2 options though. So you've got the Hailstrike, which really is a another enemy specific unit. It's got the Iron Hail Heavy Stubbers, where you're getting 8 shots. You get the Onslaught Gatling Cannon with 8, and then you've got 2 Fragstorm grenade launchers which have a possibility of getting 12 shots. So you may well get 28 shots there. So it really does send it in terms of the amount of ammunition, but at incremental ranges. So to be fully effective, you've got to have it 18 inches away. If you're 6 inches closer, you get another 8 shots, but then if you're 12 inches on top of that, you're getting another 8 shots. So yeah, again, its effectiveness is a little bit all over the place. But if you're getting within 18 inches of a Horde army, then it's going to do a lot of damage. And the last unit I need to touch on is just the Storm Speeder Thunderstrike. Again, this is a little bit of an odd one. It's got a 48-inch range Storm Fury missile. It says it's equipped with Storm Fury missiles, but the missiles, you only get 1 shot, even though you can clearly see that it's got 2 on there. And they're a strength 10 weapon at 48-inch range. You've got the Las Talon. You've got a specific Thunderstrike Las Talon, which is now a 36-inch range. I don't know why they couldn't have just put a Las Cannon on there, but there we go. It is a nice 2-shot weapon. And then you've got the Twin Icarus rocket pods, which are good against aircraft. Then they've got a decent number of shots and damage, but they're 24-inch range. So the Thunderstrike is more akin to taking out other flyers. The Hammerstrike, this one, is more akin to anti-armor, and the Hailstrike is good at dealing with hordes. They're the 3 variants of this unit. With the limitations of the kit itself, you kind of been shoeboxed into picking one. Maybe there are occasions where you need 2 of the same Storm Speeder to deal with your enemy, or you just go for the rule of cool. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Storm Speeder? Did we really need one? Is this a growing trend? I mean, it certainly seems like it's a growing trend that Space Marines sell well, Primaris sell very well. Games Workshop will continue to make products that sell well. It's in their best interest. Therefore, will we be seeing even more Primaris versions of Space Marine vehicles? We've had the bikes, we've had the characters crossing the Rubicon, and now we've got the land speeders turning into storm speeders. Please do put your thoughts and opinions of this kit in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. the Emperor protects.